It's the morning after the night before, and on this edition of the Think Public Relations Espresso, we're going to be talking about some issues that relate to the Super Bowl and the adverts that run throughout the evening. The Super Bowl is arguably the biggest night in sport in America, and there are hundreds of millions of people in the US and also many more watching around the world. So it's an opportunity for brands to communicate with their customers and also with people that they would like to have as customers. I think this year's adverts in the main were a huge miss. They were more the Denver Broncos than they were the Seattle Seahawks, and they didn't really communicate anything clearly. There seems to be a trend in real-time marketing which is concerning for the professionals in the industry, and that appears to be that brands think it's fine to be a jackass. They want to be the jocks, they want to get noticed for being stupid and being silly, rather than actually communicating anything. Don't get me wrong, I have nothing against humour, but I think that in many cases it's very difficult for brands to do effectively, and I think this year was a prime example of that. I think two adverts for me stood out. One was the Maserati commercial. It was very clear watching online that very few people got it, and I think that's a really good thing. I think Maserati weren't after the mainstream audience, they were after a group of people that have a budget available to spend on a luxury sedan between $75,000 and $125,000 that would ordinarily buy a German car or one of the emerging luxury US sedans, the four doors. And they were trying to communicate, I believe, that there's another option now. Anybody that understands Maserati, anybody that's likely to buy a Maserati will understand the heritage of the Ghibli brand. And I think the ad communicated, based on values, what the company and the new vehicle is all about. I think the other one for me that really worked was the T-Mobile and Tim Tebow advert. It was a single message advert. It was very clearly done and managed to use humour in a way which wasn't too throwaway, but that most of the people watching, most of the mass audience watching will have appreciated. So I think they got it right. One for me that was a major faux pas was Jaguar on social media. When the Maserati advert ran, they were poking fun, saying, well, what Ghibli means? Ghibli means hot air, and that's kind of basically sums up the content of the Maserati ad. Again, misplaced. I don't think that Jaguar's traditional audience is interested in that kind of thing. The F class is obviously a car that is tailored at the younger Jaguar audience, but I still think it's not really the sort of behaviour, the sort of persona that younger Jaguar customers would want to be associated with. So that's my overview of the good and the bad from the Super Bowl adverts last night. A lack of real clear communication and a real huge missed opportunities for most of the companies that spent big in order to get in front of hundreds of thousands of eyeballs.